So I want to go ahead and get started. We are now about 2 weeks into this shutdown. The Senate won't vote again until October 20th. How long do you think this will last?
I think that's going to be up to the Republican leadership. They haven't called us back in. This was our fourth week of paid vacation that the House Republicans have not come to Washington. I've been there. I was there Tuesday and Wednesday, hoping that they would do the right thing and come. But, this isn't just about holding your breath over a shutdown. We have a farm bill that's 2 years overdue. We have a bunch of other bills, reauthorizations that have to happen. And the fact that Congress just thinks that we can do nothing and have pina coladas at home is not a good idea. And I think we need the House Republicans to be more responsible than what they're doing.
Well, and Republicans said that they won't come to the table quite yet, and they'll be ready to talk about some of these tax subsidies after the shutdown is ended. What do you think about that?
What's the famous wimpy hamburger Popeye cartoon? I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. We've seen that from the Republicans, and they never deliver. We had a deal, we thought, in March, and of course that got renegotiated by having the White House steal funds that we had agreed to in a bipartisan way. So right now, their track record on truthfulness isn't so good. So what we're saying is right now in Wisconsin next week, people will get their rate increases for the Affordable Care Act. People right now who are employers are getting their rate increases for next year for their group health plans. This is the time to deal with this. If you do it after all the rate increases come out, people are going to be paying a whole lot more for health insurance, which is what we're fighting in the first place. So it sounds like a lot of rhetoric, but it's not rhetoric that's going to bring down the bills of health care for anyone in Wisconsin. And it's certainly not going to help the 15 million people that are likely to lose their health insurance.
And kind of on the other side of this coin now are federal workers here in Wisconsin that are going unpaid during the shutdown. What would you say to those individuals right now who may be struggling because of the shutdown?
Yeah, I think the federal employees are some of the heroes. They're saying keep the government closed because this is about a bigger fight than just them. They should get paid no matter what. That's the way we've always done it with a shutdown. They're just not getting their check right now, and that can be really hard. You've got a mortgage due, you've got to buy groceries, etc. So the fact that they're the ones telling us to continue this fight for everyone, the broader public, that really says something about how strong our federal employees are and how much they care about their jobs and helping the public.
And I talked to Congressman Style earlier today, your colleague, about these subsidies and things that he wants to see. And he said that he would like to see reform within these subsidies before he's necessarily ready to start talking about an extension. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think before he ever even got to Congress, we were talking about the Republican health care plan. And here we are a decade plus later, and there still is no Republican health care plan. You can't take away health care if you don't have a plan. So rather than first taking away health insurance from small business owners and people who can't otherwise get health insurance through the Affordable Care Act, or people on Medicare, don't forget 55% of our seniors in nursing homes are on Medicare, or raising the rates for all of us because so many more people are going to be uninsured, maybe we should have a concrete plan in place before they take all of that away, and they don't have that. So let's keep the health insurance we have. They took it away in that big ugly law that they passed months ago. But don't, make this that we're going to hold our breath and we're not going to ever meet again in Congress. We've got things to do. They told us they support members of Congress being barred from buying stocks. Well, let's pass a bill. The Farm Bill was due in 2023. Let's help our farmers in Wisconsin now. And, one more person gets sworn in, we can get the Epstein files released. So if they're really serious about doing something, come to work. But sitting back home in your basements, belly up to the bar, that's not getting anything done.
Well, and I feel that House Republicans would argue on that side that they've kind of done their job here and it's up to the Senate now. What do you think about that?
No, it's ridiculous, right? We all know there's many other bills. I think about 12,000 plus bills get introduced in Congress every session, right? There's other things we can do. It's just such a stupid argument. And really, stupid is the only word I can use because it just, their argument keeps changing, right? At first, it was because we were giving health care to undocumented people. And then it was proven that no one can get health insurance on Medicare, Medicaid, or the Affordable Care Act if you're undocumented, right? So that was a fallacy. Then they said something about transgender surgeries in Paraguay. I don't even know where that came from, other than their obsession about people who are transgender. That didn't come to reality. And then they said we're blocking $50 billion to rural hospitals in places like Wisconsin, but the law they passed cost rural hospitals $443 billion. So they're putting a Band-Aid on a gaping wound, covering $1 out of $9 lost. Look, enough excuses. Go to work, earn your paycheck, and if you're not going to, let someone else take your job.
And I want to go back to something we were talking about a little bit earlier in this conversation, which was what Style had brought up about some of these credits and reform that he would like to see. Do you think that that could happen after the government shutdown is over, or you think that these things really need to happen before the shutdown ends?
Well, I mean, the Republicans haven't put anything forth on healthcare, right, in a decade plus since the first Trump presidency. So they don't have any credibility. If they don't put something on paper, you can't say, we've got lots of ideas, right? We heard that. Remember, there was a concept of a plan during the presidential debates. We're still yet to see that plan. And I think that's the problem. There's no credibility in what they're saying. So don't, in order to give a tax break to your donors, don't take away health insurance from people in Wisconsin. And right now, there's a lot of people, and you're going to start hearing about them in the next week or two, that no longer can afford those increases. And they're going to be some of the people that are now uninsured and don't have health insurance for their families.
Well, and you said the next week or two here. Are you expecting the government shutdown to go on that long?
Well, the rate increases come out from the Affordable Care Act, I believe, on Monday. So people will start getting the notice of their new rates in Wisconsin.
But could you see the government shutdown continuing for another week or two?
I would get Brian back on air and ask him when he's going to come back to work because he and Derek Van Orden and the rest of the crew, Tom Tiffany, are on their fourth week of paid vacation. I don't know many of my constituents who get 4 weeks of paid vacation. I've been going to Washington. I was there Tuesday and Wednesday. They're not always showing up. To Brian's credit, I did see him. I take it back this week in Washington, at least for a day, but I haven't seen the rest of the delegation. Look, we've got important things to do, including a farm bill that if it's not done by the end of this year, there's a huge spike in milk prices that are going to hurt Wisconsin farmers more than almost anyone else because we change how we price milk, and that will devastate dairy farmers. We've got work to do. It's time to quit, crying and just get back to work. Dairy farmers.
Well, thank you so much, Congressman, for taking the time to chat with us today.
Sure, no problem. Thank you.
Is there anything else quickly before we let you go that you would like to add that we didn't discuss? And just one last question here quickly for you is I've talked to some people here who are saying that they're tired of politicians just playing the blame game right now. What would you say to those individuals? And do you think Republicans are coming to the table right now?